Hey everyone, welcome back to LightHearted. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Britton. We are so excited to introduce our guest to you today. But before we jump into that, wherever you're listening, make sure you take a second to subscribe. It really helps us out. And we just want to make sure you never miss an episode.
Yeah. We're really excited to have our special guest on today. This is Vanessa Riggs. She's my sister-in-law. She's a small business owner, wife, and mom to be.
We're so excited that you're here. Thanks for joining us today.
I'm really pumped to be here.
To kick things off, we ask every single guest on here 3 questions just to kind of like get to know you a little bit better. They're very low ball questions.
All right.
But we have also answered these same questions, so we've been in the same boat. All right, the first one is, if you could go back in time and change something that you actually had control over,
Okay.
what would you change, or would you change anything?
I don't think so. I don't think I would. I've seen Back to the Future too many times. Because everything that I've done, everything that's happened, good or bad, has led to what I am now, and I feel pretty happy with what is happening now. So I think I'd leave it alone.
I love that.
All right, you ready for the second question?
Yes.
If you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
I think, this is going to sound crazy, I think it would be chill out a little bit. I'm a very not chill kind of person. Like, I can pretend to be chill. But I think if I could relax and like just enjoy more things rather than being stressed about all the little details, I think I'd be a lot more calm of a person. But I think some of my not chill is what got me where I am. So
That's true.
Just a little bit more chill.
Yeah.
Are there like specific moments that you're like, man, if I could have just chilled out in that moment?
Yeah, so I think like my wedding day, I was so excited and I was so nervous and it was miserably hot that day. And
Accurate.
yeah, it was so hot. And I just wanted everything to be like perfect, and which I think is really common. Like, I don't think I'm the first person to feel like that. But I think if I would have chilled out a little bit more, like I had a stomach ache. Like, there's no reason you needed to have a stomach ache on your wedding day. Like, just enjoy it. But it was still a great day, so I'm not mad.
I like that answer a lot. That's awesome. The final question that we have is, if you could ask your future self just one question, what would you ask? And again, would you ask anything?
Again, like, I am hearing, Doc Brown from Back to the Future. I think I would, if I did ask a question, I'd say, okay, like, are you happy? Is this, like, is this good? Like, I know that happiness is fleeting, but like, is this what you thought it would be? Like, is life good? But most likely it wouldn't go any deeper than that, because I don't want to know, because I will influence myself with what knowledge I do have, and who knows what'll happen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
That's exactly what I said.
I
love it.
think that's what I said too.
Yeah, because I was like, I originally was like, I would ask like in depth, like, do you have the man of your dreams, or blah blah.
Right.
But like making it a low ball question, like, are you happy? Then I think that would set you up for success moving forward, because you could get very disappointed very quickly, because you may be happy, it's just not what you thought it would be.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so I think it's really interesting that you mentioned, like, on your wedding day, wanting everything to be perfect.
Yeah.
Which I, like, for brides, I don't think that's an insane
No.
thing to think. Like, I know I was the same way. But I also think it's interesting that, like, we're here because we want to talk about, like, how to let go of just feeling like we need to be perfect all the time. Can you tell us kind of more about, like, how that shows up in your life?
Yeah, I'd love to. So that one, like the wedding specifically, it obviously ended up working out. Like, I had a beautiful wedding. I love my wedding. And ultimately, like, afterwards, because that's not something you can really deal with, like, hey, wanting to be perfect in the moment of your wedding day. You kind of just have to say, I'm in the moment. Like, I'm getting married today. This doesn't matter. This can't matter. Like, it doesn't have time to. And so obviously afterwards, it's like, well, hey, life is good again. Like, at the end of the day, I got married to my best friend. Like, life is good. And hey, we're going to the beach. Like, like, it was fine. So I think a lot of times that perfectionism, we get stuck in the moment with perfectionism, because perfectionism doesn't really let you look forward a lot. Like, or if you do, it's a very manufactured kind of future, and it's not very ideal, usually. Like, it's going to end up being a lot of work and struggling and striving for something that you're never going to be able to achieve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. And like at the end of the day, you were at the beach with your best friend. So like
Right.
it didn't
Right.
actually matter anyway.
Right. So it didn't matter that we were all sweating to death. Like, and now it's a funny story. Like, Rachel and I literally laugh about it. Like, oh yeah. Or it didn't matter that the bridesmaids' dresses fit when they tried them on, and then they ended up being uncomfortable. Like, and
Yeah.
they were pretty uncomfortable, I think, for you guys. But in the end, it was like, oh, they're the right colors, and it was one day,
Yeah.
and it was okay.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
Speaking of the bridesmaids dresses, I think it was really funny because when you try on dresses, this is total sidebar. When you try on dresses, they're stretched out a little bit. So like when I got mine, my actual one, it was like way too tight around my arm, so it was like hurting really bad. And what's interesting is like when we were getting ready and I was standing there for like an hour, I was in like, this is so uncomfortable. This is horrible. As soon as the wedding started till that night, like you just completely forget about it. You're just like so in the moment that I was like, oh, I forgot that this was so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So
I think that's interesting too, because like how often does it happen where like we care so much about it and like literally nobody else cares? It's like you got in the moment, you're like, we're good, I'm having a great time.
Yeah.
And she potentially had moments where she's like, oh gosh, they're probably so uncomfortable, or like it's so hot or whatever.
yeah.
Like
right.
it's so interesting though that it's like sometimes we're still the problem and it
Yeah.
doesn't need to be. Yeah.
Or like nobody notices.
Yeah.
Like your pain was not nothing, but nobody noticed that, you know, the bride was sweating or the bridesmaids' dresses were tight on the arms or whatever. It was just
Yeah.
like, oh, hey, the person we love is getting married today.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's the cake flavor? Like,
Yep.
Yeah.
like they're simple. It's a simple mission there.
I agree with you though, where it's like we get so worked up about like the details, which like for your wedding, I think that's fair. Like that
Right.
makes sense.
That's
But
very
yeah,
details
like people
matter.
weren't just like, oh man, I wish those bridesmaid dresses fit better.
Right.
Like
They're not coming to
I
the
never
wedding
knew
with
that.
a checklist. Like, well, this was wrong and this was ugly
like
and I
the
didn't
colors
care.
were not what I would have picked. You're like, okay. Okay, do you have any other moments that stand out to you from your life where you're just like, dang, like I didn't need that?
Yeah. So this is kind of a long story.
Go for it.
And
We
I don't-
love long stories.
We're here for it.
I don't want to sound braggy. Like, so I want to start with that.
Brag,
But,
baby. Do it.
like, all of my schooling, so like elementary clear through college, I didn't finish college, but I was very much hey, I'm gonna get straight A's. Like, it mattered to me, it was important. And this is the part where it's gonna sound braggy. I am blessed to not be someone that had to like work super, super hard for straight A's. So it kind of just came naturally, which meant that I began to like pile all of it on my plate. And my parents, who love me, of course, just wanted the best for me. So they were like, yeah, you know, you're capable of getting straight A's. We want the best for you. You have these goals. To achieve them, you need these things. We'll help you and support you. And so it became like, instead of getting straight A's because I wanted them, it became, well, I have to get straight A's because it's almost what's expected of me by me.
Yeah.
So it became this like obsession with extracurriculars and all the bonus points and all the extra credit and all the everything's. Like, if it was available, like, put my name on it, except for sports. Wasn't a huge sports person. I did like 2 or 3, but I was just involved with everything I could, which was not a bad thing. Like, I don't even really regret it so much now. I just regret that, kind of like I said earlier, there was no chill about it. And so it got like really, really obsessive. And so I quit caring so much about, you know, why I wanted the A. And I had this little rant that I would go on, and Rachel's probably heard it a million times. But I had to get the good grades so I could get into the good advanced classes, so I could get a good scholarship, so I could get to the good school, so I could get a good job, so I could have a good life. And so then it became this whole obsession with like, I want to live, like, I'm doing everything right now for a future that I think I want. But I didn't have any details beyond, I just want to have a good life and a good job. And then it's like, okay, well, Vanessa, I hate to break it to you, but you need to know more about what you want in life than just, oh yeah, I have straight A's. That's it. Mm-hmm. And so that kind of led to me thinking that, you know, if I get all this stuff, I'll have the good life that I want. And it led me to choose a degree that would fit and would work and I would have been fine in. Like, I went into early education, mm-hmm. and I was like, yeah, I can do that. Like, no part of me doubts that I could have done that. But I got into college and I was starting to do it, and I was like, I hate this. Like, I love kids. I love teaching kids, love working with kids, but this sucks. Like, I don't enjoy this at all. And I'm someone who is aware that, you know, college is not going to be all like super fun. Like, you're going to have papers that suck to write. You're going to have situations that are no fun. Like, that's real life. But all of it was awful and I hated it. And I was like, okay, so I worked all this time and like destroyed everything to have this future, and now I don't want this future. And I was like, oh crap. And it was not a fun time. Like, luckily I had a really good support system, but at the time I lived in Virginia, and then COVID happened. So I ended up moving in with Josh's family for a bit, and then we were just traveling and moving everywhere, and life was insane, and the pandemic was crazy for everyone. So that's not a unique experience. But trying to hold on to this idea of a perfect future when everything was spiraling was terrible. And it wasn't just terrible for me. Like, it put unmeetable expectations on myself, on Josh, on like whatever job I wanted to apply to, whatever, you know, all relationships. And it just made it really uncomfortable for everyone. So it's not a good time.
Yeah, I think what kept kind of popping into my brain while you were saying that was like, it's so interesting that oftentimes we think that like perfection equals more freedom for us,
right,
when I think it's the exact opposite, where it's like the more you try to be perfect, the less freedom you actually have. You just like keep losing yourself to that. Yeah.
I think perfectionism, for me, like, I can't speak for everybody who deals with perfectionism, but for me it came down to like what I can control, and I wasn't able to look at it realistically, like, because I can control what grade I get on my papers, and in high school it was fairly easy. Like, I could you know, give minimal effort. And again, I don't want to sound like I'm so cool.
I think so many people will relate to that, where it's like, I didn't have to work that hard on this thing, so I just piled it on, and that sucks. Yeah.
And so I was like, well, I can control what grade I get, so I control that. And if I can control that, then it's only a half a step up to control this. And then you do that all the way to the top, and all of a sudden you realize you have no control over any of it.
Yeah, and you're burnt.
Right. You're exhausted and you're tired, and most likely you're a little bitter, because I will tell you, there were people still in high school that were naturally more talented, more gifted. They were smarter than me. They were just better at everything than me. And instead of being able to like make friends and forge connections with them, I just got bitter because, well, they have to work less hard than I do, and they have all this, and they'll get this. And, you know, instead of saying, wow, look at this friend, and like, they're so blessed to be able to do this, and I'm so proud of them, it just became, well, if I had these things too, I could do that. And I didn't like that I couldn't, again, control my steps to perfectionism.
Yeah, that's so real.
I feel like so often we get like you said, like, we get this picture of what we want our life to look like, even if it's not super detailed, but you have an idea, and then you start building the steps to it, and you may realize halfway through that like, do I want to do this? And you start questioning it, but you just were like, no, but like, this is what I wanted, so I have to keep going.
Right.
Like,
and I told people I was going to do this.
Yes, that's a big one. And I feel like, I mean, even for me, like, 12-year-old little Rachel wanted to be married by 21 and start having kids. And it's like, as I got to in my 20s, and I was like, crap. And part of me was sad that I was not hitting those goals. But part of me was like, but I don't actually even want those right now. Like, there's other things that I would rather be doing, and I feel more inclined to go in the other direction. But still my heart's going, no, but like, this is what you wanted. This is what you told everyone you wanted.
It's almost like a guilty feeling.
Yeah, it's like, no, like, I can't let myself down.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, because what you're doing is letting yourself down.
Right.
While trying to not let yourself down.
Like, either way.
Either way, yeah.
Yeah, you're so right.
It's crazy.
It's kind of crappy. It's a sad cycle.
And even if no one else is putting that pressure on you, you're doing it to yourself.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's almost harder than if somebody else is putting pressure on you.
I agree.
Because if like you guys were putting pressure on me to be perfect, then as friends, we can have a conversation about that. And we can set realistic expectations, realistic standards. But I was putting it on myself.
Right.
And once I get in my head about something, most of the time I'm not, well, especially high school, Vanessa was not good at all at figuring out what was realistic.
Yeah.
And like what was okay to expect of myself.
Yeah.
Like I needed to do the best, be the best, so I could be enough.
Yeah.
And so I think that it comes down to, you know, self-worth and like value as well.
Yeah.
So, and I figured if, you know, if I do enough, am enough, be enough, then I will have more value. And which, unfortunately, when you're in that high school, college track, if your application is full of all these things, it looks a lot better than one thing on your applications.
Yeah.
And so it does become, hey, you did enough. We think you have value. We want you at our school.
Yeah.
And that's like, I don't know any way to fix that.
Right.
But it's an unfortunate
Yeah.
way of operating, I guess.
Yeah, it really is.
I feel like it's how you take things too. Like even families or parents can say, like, your parents are going to be proud of you for getting straight A's.
Yeah.
Obviously, your kid's getting straight A's. Like, they should be proud of
Yeah.
you. And they may not mean that in any way that's like, you have to get straight A's to be good and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But you may take it that way. That's not what they meant. But you may like internalize that. Like, they're proud of me that I'm getting straight A's. I got to keep getting straight A's and put that pressure on yourself, even if that wasn't what their intention was to begin with.
Right. Right. Well, because their words are saying, hey, we love you regardless. You're our daughter. We care about you.
Right.
But I'm hearing it in my own head as, we love you because you do these things and you
Yep.
behave well and
You're
you act
valuable
this
to
and-
us because of this.
Right.
Right.
Like we can be proud, like your name's on the principal's list or the dean's list or whatever. And, you know, you have all these things attached to you.
Yeah.
Therefore, we're proud of you.
Yeah.
And that was never what it was.
Right.
Ever. And like they made that abundantly clear.
Right.
You already put so much pressure on yourself
Right.
that
So I
then
couldn't
like your
see
brain's
it.
looking for that more. To be
Yeah.
like, and they want me to do well, and they want me to do well, and this person cares about it.
Right. And so
Yeah.
it becomes, perfectionism became kind of like a filter. Like everything had to go through this filter. And if it didn't pass, then I didn't want anything to do with it. So my first step into like trying to accept that I wasn't perfect, and I don't think I even realized it at the time, was I joined the tennis team at our school. And our tennis team was like 3 kids. And
Was that the first sport that you
it
had
wasn't.
joined?
It
Okay.
wasn't. So I did cross country and track all the way through. I was
Yeah.
a big runner, loved it. And then I found out I had scoliosis, and they were like, "Yeah, you really shouldn't be doing this. It's not good for you." And I was like, "Well, forget that." And I did it for a little while longer. And then they were like, "No, you really need to stop." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I quit, and I started doing like youth league soccer in our community, and I started doing that. And then Rachel and I coached a team, and it was so much fun. We coached like the 4 and unders. That's so cute. And then I joined the tennis team because I loved the coach. And he was actually our Sunday school teacher. And I was like, you know what? I trust him. I'll try tennis. I've never played it in my life. Like, I don't even like to play it on the Wii. And it was a club, not a sport. So we got like 0 recognition. We got 0 school help. Like, it was terrible. And it was the most fun time I've ever had. I made such good, genuine friends. We had so much fun. We weren't very good, like as a whole. Like we had some individual players that were good. As a whole, we weren't going anywhere. Like, but we had so much fun and we worked hard, and I was able to like learn to practice and work hard and set goals and still be the worst person at the tournaments. Like we'd play and I would get eliminated the first round, but the game took a little bit longer. Like each match took a little bit longer than, last week. So it's fine. And if you've ever had to watch a tennis match, it's not usually very exciting, especially not high school, where there's a lot of dropping and a lot of terrible serves, and it's, amateur hour, as it should be. But I just stepped into it, and I remember my mom being like, well, you can do this, but like why did you decide to do this? I was like, you know what, it's fine, I'll just figure it out. And my husband Josh ended up joining senior year, and so we got to play together, and it was just a very safe place with a safe group of people that I had never hung out with before. So these people had no expectations of me. These people just were like, oh, okay, there's a new player on the team anyways. And so I got to go in and be terrible and learn, and it was fabulous.
That must have been so refreshing.
It was so freeing, because with running, it's always, okay, you need to set a new PR. You need to do this. Like with all sports it is, but that's what I have experience with. And at some point in time, I believe that you've kind of just hit your max with running. Like you've gone as fast as you can. you're this pace runner. And with tennis, there's a lot more room to grow, I think. And it's also just more chill than I let myself be with running. Like running was, I have to do this because, again, it's expected. In tennis, no one even really knew I played tennis. So it was fine. I could just be whatever I was.
It's like very low stakes.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there was like a time when you first started it where you were like, I'm going to perfect this? And then like what was kind of the thing that changed it for you? Was it the people that were there that you were like, oh, they don't give a crap about this? like they don't care if I'm good? Or like, was it an internal change for you? Like, what do you think it was that was like, I don't have to be perfect. I can just have fun.
I think, so when I joined, there was a group of, I think they were seniors that year. And they were really fabulous. I haven't talked about this in forever, or even thought about this. They were really fabulous. And they were just so nice, and I was younger, so they didn't have to reach out and be kind, but they were, and they were so sweet. And none of them were perfect in playing. They were good, but they had been playing for a while, and we just goofed and we played, and when we got in trouble, we all ran together, and it was just very much, hey, we may not be the best, but we're doing it together. And so there was a lot of friendship to it. And I watched them have to learn, because the coach, he always made sure that we were, doing the best technique and all this stuff. And so I think that was kind of a big turning point. We all had completely different styles. We all served completely different. And you're supposed to. That's a huge benefit in tennis, because you face people and you don't know how they serve. So, everyone knows how you start a race in cross country. There's not much sneaky skill to that. You just run.
Not a lot of wiggle room there.
Yeah. So, I'd do my stupid little racket flip, and it didn't work all the time. And sometimes I threw my racket because I dropped it mid switch. But to just know that, okay, they don't just embrace your mistakes. They're like, okay, we're going to make this work. You're never going to go to the Olympics. You're never going to be a pro, but you're learning a skill as a teen, and that's cool. So let's learn it.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was realistic expectations.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm. So that was your first little adventure with that. Is that was that a lesson that stuck? And did it translate to other areas of your life? Or was it just in that moment it did help you?
I would say that looking back, I think it definitely helped long term. Mm-hmm. But it felt more like okay, I can go to tennis and I can be, Vanessa, and I can be weird and goofy. And I can go home and I can be weird and goofy. But everywhere else, it's got to be, nice and perfect. And if it is weird and goofy, it still needs to be camera ready. And like I always said, you would never catch a candid picture of me actually laughing or being goofy. I'm either going to legitimately stop and pose, or I've practiced laughing and being goofy, which sounds so fake. But because I cared so much about what my image was. And so I think that was the start of it, but it was a small space where I could be imperfect.
Yeah.
And still be totally accepted. And it was low stakes because, again, these weren't necessarily the people I sat with every day at lunch. We would see each other in the halls and we'd kind of do and we'd go, because they didn't sit with me either. I don't know, it was just a little secret tennis weirdos club.
They're the best.
Right.
I think that's cool. And I applaud you for trying something that you knew you probably weren't going to be good at. Mm-hmm. Because now I'm just thinking about myself and I'm I just don't like to even try things because I'm going to not be good at it. And you have to start somewhere. Right. Everyone does. But I'm I'm just going to embarrass myself. I don't want to go golfing because I won't even hit the ball.
It's hard to step into that, though. Yeah.
It's I want to be good at it, but you have to actually start to actually be good at it.
Right. Yeah.
And that's scary. Especially if you struggle with perfectionism.
Right.
So,
okay. So it sounds like you were really able to take tennis and just make it a really authentic place for you. Is that?
Yeah. Yeah. I got to be, a lot more chill, a lot more relaxed version of me. It definitely became a safe place. But it was a fun place. I didn't have to try really hard to be authentic. I just got to go there and it was okay. And it was just a deep breath and off we go.
Yeah.
So it
a
was
safe place
nice
to practice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And rather than, performing, I guess.
Yeah.
So it was just, I like that. It was practice over performing.
Yeah.
Even in the tournaments, even in the matches, even in everything. Because I knew that my tennis friends would still love me, and I knew my coach was still proud of me, and I knew my parents didn't understand tennis a whole lot, but they were really proud.
They were there for it.
They were cheering as much as you're allowed to cheer at tennis.
You're not.
You're not.
It's like the golf claps. They're like,
Right.
yay. I love it.
Yeah. I also think authenticity, though, I've been thinking about this a lot, and coincidentally had a conversation yesterday about it. I think social media will tell you that, you know, even there's the day in the life videos. Okay, join me for a day in the life as blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
I love those videos. Fall victim to them every time. But now we've started seeing like, come with me for a realistic day in life, or get ready with me for a realistic day in life. And it's like, those are great, but they're still not super realistic. Like, you're still choosing, and I am in no way saying, well, you have to show us every single deep, dirty, dark secret of yours. Like, you do not. That is your life. Do as you please. But you're showing us you're showing us what you choose for us to see. And that's okay. But it lends itself to an unrealistic, inauthentic version. And so, like, I end up on, you know, like, cleaning TikTok all the time.
Don't we all?
There's a lot of
TikTok hurts my feelings.
There's a lot of anger on that. That little group, they get really angry. Like, okay, I saw a mom leave dishes in her sink, and people were ripping her to shreds in the comments, like, you're abusing your child. What do you mean? She left her dishes in the sink so she could go and take care of her children. That's not abuse. There's nothing wrong. Like, they weren't even that dirty of dishes. She just left them in the sink. Like, I don't know. That just seems crazy to me. And you don't know this person. That's a stranger that you're attacking.
People are bold.
Yeah.
They are bold for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
But, like, every time I go over to Rachel's house and I hang out with her, if she says, and she almost always does, well, the house is a wreck, or my room's a disaster, or whatever. And I say the same thing when she comes to my house. But I go in there and I don't care, and I curl up on her bed, or I curl up wherever, and we hang out. We love to have, you know, floor time, we call it. And we just sit on the floor and we hang out. Like, that's fine. Like, let your friends step into your mess, because it's going to be way more comfortable than trying to keep everyone out and saying, you know, it's not perfect yet, just wait. It's not perfect yet, just wait. Because the real thing is, it's not going to wait. Life's not going to wait. And unfortunately, your friends are only going to wait for so long.
Yeah.
Because they deserve better than a friend who's just saying, just wait, not yet.
Because you're never going to reach that perfectionism that you want. Like, you're never going to be as perfect as you want to display to those people.
Yeah.
And so it's just going to always be.
It's never going to happen. I love that you said let your friends step into your mess with you.
Yeah.
Like,
Let your friends help you clean your mess with you.
yeah.
Right.
Whether that's
Yeah.
like literal physical mess or just
Like,
life.
do you need emotional support? Do you need, like,
Yeah.
what is your mess? And, like, how can your friends
That's
be there?
when
That's amazing.
I
love
feel like
that.
that's when you connect the most with someone. And like,
Yeah.
if she's struggling and chooses not to tell me, which is fine, like, she doesn't have to. Like, I'll know if she's struggling just by how she is, but she doesn't have to tell me what's going on, and that's fine. But when she chooses to, that's when I feel like, okay, like, thank you for allowing me to know these details about what you're struggling with. How can I help you? And that grows the friendship so much.
Yeah. 'Cause it's like, let me carry this with you. Like, you don't have to
Right.
bear the whole burden.
Yeah.
It's partnership.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think
I
that's
agree.
kind of the enemy of perfectionism, because if you're perfect, I can't control you. I can't really control me, but I can try a lot harder to do that than I can control you.
Right.
So I can make me perfect. But if my perfect life, and you step into it and you're not perfect, which is great, that's the goal. But you step into it and you're not perfect, then I'm going to have to cut that relationship off. And that means that I'm alone. And that sucks.
Yep.
And that's going to make all of the connected stuff with perfectionism worse, because now my control is more, because, well, I've cut off friends before, I'll do it again. Like, all for the sake of this, you know, made up future, this made up image that I'm wanting.
Yeah.
It just, yeah. My dad always says, you know, don't steal someone's blessing. Like, don't take their chance away to be a blessing. So, like, if I am struggling and I say, Rachel, you know, listen, come over. And I've called you guys before and been like, hey, I'm struggling so much. Can I just call you real quick? There's nothing you can do about it. I just need a minute to just be upset.
Yeah.
That's great. I'm in my pajamas. My hair looks like a disaster. You can probably see the background of my house. There's stuff everywhere. But that means that I get to be with you. I get something that I need. And it sounds a little selfish, but you guys get the chance to say, hey, we were there for our friend. Like,
Yeah.
and then in exchange, because it's a friendship, you know that you can call me at any point in time and have the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
And we have.
Absolutely.
yeah. And we have, like, those phone calls.
You know how
go
many
round and round
times
and
we've
round.
FaceTimed each other and we're both just like sobbing, like one of us will be sobbing and the other one's like, okay,
Like, you want to talk about it?
what's
Right.
going
Yeah.
on? Yeah.
Yeah. But I think you're right that, like, it does open it up to, like, hey, and it's okay if you call me too.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
Like, I just showed you this really vulnerable part of me. Like, it's okay for you to do that too.
Yep.
I think it makes it safe for everybody.
I agree.
Yeah. Like, people that you care about and people that care about you enjoy the chance to get to help you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and it's true. Like, I don't love it when you're upset.
Right.
But when you're upset and you say, hey, Vanessa, I need this and I know you can do it. Can you do it? Absolutely, sign me up.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm so excited.
Yeah,
Like, it just makes my day.
for sure.
I love it. It's because it's nice to be needed and it's nice to be connected.
Yeah.
Because people need people.
People need people.
And perfectionism will keep you from that every single time
Yeah.
because people aren't perfect.
Correct.
Which means they'll let you down when you reach out, or you will let them down, and it blocks everything good in your life.
Yeah. It really does.
Yeah, and if you're striving for even a perfect friendship, like it's not, you're not gonna get it.
You're going to lose
No.
it immediately.
Like, because we've had times where we're mad at each other or whatever, and it's
Yeah.
like
Just part of being a human.
we're human beings.
Yeah.
We're human beings, and I think in those scenarios it's hard too, because like when it's a spouse, like you live together, you see pretty much everything about your spouse, and you can work through those things. Whereas with like a friendship, there's way more distance in it.
Yeah.
And so you may not get to see, oh, well, when they went home, they really thought about it and they weren't actually as angry. Whereas
Right.
I'm not going to see that. So then it's like, oh my word, and it's
Yeah.
not going to be perfect.
Right.
No.
And I think, like, okay, we've been friends for how long? Since we were
Oh my gosh, I don't even know.
13 and 14?
So young.
2016.
Okay.
August of 2016.
So I
we
was 15.
It's like almost 10 years, guys. That's a long time.
Yeah, I was 15. So you would have been like
I would have been
13-ish.
13 and 14.
14. So
That's a long time.
yeah, like, and we've had a lot of changes. Like, now we were church friends, and then we were, like, best friends, and then suddenly I was dating her brother, and like that'll change the dynamics. You want to change
That was
the dynamics.
really rough, y'all.
You want to
You're
change
like,
the
huh?
dynamics. Marry your best friend's brother.
If you're thinking about setting your best friend up with your brother, be prepared. It's worth it, but oh man.
It could have gone so bad so many different times.
Well, yeah, and like if you guys would have
Oh, it would have
split up, like that would have
That would've
sucked.
been-
Right.
Like I would have definitely chose you over my brother. I'm just,
Yeah, Josh.
Sorry, Josh.
no,
But and I think when we did have like disagreements or fights, especially as we've gotten older, we've
Yeah.
done a lot better at being able to say, okay, hold on, we're going to talk about this, and if that means we argue a bit or we completely disagree, like, we're going to sit down and deal with this until it's dealt with.
Yep.
But if we cared, both of us, more about our friendship being perfect, we'd just say, you know what, but it still looks good from the outside.
Yeah.
No one's going to know, it's fine.
Yeah.
Sweep it under the rug. It's
Right.
fine.
Right. And when that, all the dirt under the rug becomes too much, you just go, oh, we just drifted apart. Like, we still love each other, but we drifted apart.
Yep.
And that can happen for real. Like,
It
those
happens.
are real relationships
Yeah.
as well. But
But not every relationship.
Right.
Like everybody makes it sound like.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you can make a lot of excuses with perfectionism. Like, I wouldn't even have to say, oh, it was all Rachel. It was Rachel did this. It could be, I just wasn't in the place to have that kind of friendship, or I was busy, or I was blah, 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 blah. And those can
Yeah.
be true. But at the core, that's not the problem.
Yeah.
The problem is it wasn't my idea of perfect. So I cut my losses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad we haven't done that. I'm so glad we haven't done that.
Me too.
I'm also glad you guys haven't done that.
We're a little
I
stuck
love
together
it.
now.
It's so good. You guys are good friends, though. That's cute.
Okay, so something that we always do on the podcast is we talk about these topics, and then we try and go into some tips and some just some helpful things for our viewers, so that if they are in the same boat we were or are, They just know, like, get some advice on what to do. So what are some maybe daily practices or reminders that you have to tell yourself and remind yourself of that help you not focus so much on being perfect and just being your true authentic self?
So first of all, a lot of prayer. Like it is. So my faith is very important to me. And so it's a lot of, okay, God, I can't be perfect. You know that. I know that. You made me to not be perfect.
Yeah.
Like you made me as I am. Help me accept that. And, you know, maybe send me people to help call me out on it when I do get stuck in that. And Rachel and I were talking about this morning, you know, I'm a little dense sometimes. So like sometimes it's going to have to be a big call out, like a giant sign. Hey, Vanessa, you're trying to be perfect again. But I think just a lot of prayer. And at this point in my walk, it's very casual. Like it's just, hey, like if I'm working on an order, so I'm a baker. So if I'm working on an order and I want to put out good work, like I want the best for my customers. But if I find myself obsessing over the tiniest detail and it just looks, you know, in my eyes, horrendous, and in real life it's fine, I'm like, okay, God, like I'm gonna go take a little break. I'm gonna come back to this with fresh eyes. Help me to stop being insane over this. Like, help me to calm down a little bit and chill out.
Yeah.
Like, give me some peace about this. Because if it is bad, if there is something I can do to fix it, I want to do that. But if it's okay, then it's okay. Like, help me be realistic about what my own expectations are.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that so much.
I really like that.
And then I have a great therapist that I see regularly. She's fabulous.
Applause for that.
Yes, yeah, we love therapy.
She's fabulous. And, you know, I've been going to her for a long time now, and it's comfortable. So I can look at her and be like, okay, you know, I'm struggling with this specifically. And she's like, okay, so are we being realistic? Are we, and we go through this checklist that I'm about to, you know, tell you about, and we just work through it. And then, of course, I have a husband that keeps it very real. Josh is the most chill person in the world. He's so stable and steady and chill, and I am not that. And so I'll be freaking out, having a huge reaction, and he's like, okay. And it's not like he doesn't care. It's not like he brushes it aside. He's just like, okay, but like, do you think that's realistic? Do you think that's fair to you? Do you think that's fair to them? Do you think? And I'm like, okay, well, Mr. Self-actualized, like, look at you.
Let me be all like wired up about this for a second.
Right. Let me freak out for a minute. And, you know, sometimes I do that because I think sometimes you do need to freak out about stuff.
I
like,
agree.
Feel your feelings and then figure it out.
Yep.
Yeah. And Josh, you know, told me, he was like, you need to tell them on the podcast that everything I tell you, because I'll talk to him about stuff that I want to talk about with therapy. And I'm like, you know, I think I'm going to run this by her and all this stuff. And he'll give me advice on this stuff because it's my best friend. Like, that's who I'm going to go to. And I'll go to therapy and she will say the exact same thing. And he's like, I told you I should be a therapist. I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
Okay. So he wanted me to point out that, you know, he's very good at this and he knows what he's talking about.
Oh my word.
But
We'll interview him next.
if you got Josh on this show, I would be astounded.
Never happened. Never happened.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and he's very good at keeping it real. So, like, I will obsess about, I mean, anything. And he's like, Vanessa, hold on. Chill out. Like, and it's just this snap back to reality. Like, hey, listen, you can be scared, you can be terrified, but ultimately, the product won't be perfect, regardless. And you have to trust that, you know, you have to put in the work. You work hard, you set goals, you achieve them. But in the end, it's okay if it's the best you can do and not the best in the world.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's this very nice, again, freedom, because the person who loves me most in the world doesn't expect me to be perfect and control everything. Like, in fact, he usually applauds when I let things be.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think knowing yourself is really important too.
Yeah.
For me recently, I was preparing to have this conversation that was terrifying to me, but like I wanted to do it and I didn't know when it was going to happen or how it was going to happen, and it was scary, But I knew myself enough to go, okay, if I prepare for this, like if I go in my head and start going, okay, I should plan when it's going to happen, or I should plan exactly what I'm going to say, then I'm going to psych myself out and it's never going to happen, or I'm going to mess it up so much because I overplanned, and then I'm going to be disappointed by the product because I didn't stick to what I had pictured. So instead, I just was like, okay, God, I'm not planning at all. You got this. Give me the cues on when to talk and I'll talk. And it just happened. And I just talked. Was it perfect? No. Could I have said probably better things? Absolutely. But did what needed to happen? Yeah. And I didn't psych myself out. So.
And it was way more authentic. Like,
yeah.
Guaranteed it was more authentic than some, very practiced, very formal
hello
speech.
Well, yeah, because if I would have practiced,
yeah.
I would have been stumbling over my words, because I would have been like, what do I?
You're like, this key point and this key point.
Like just being real with you guys, like even doing the podcast, like if I plan for like the sentence, I'm going to mess it up way more than if I'm just like, just talk.
Yeah, our intros and outros take us the longest.
Yeah, because I'm like, I want to say it this certain way, and then I mess it up way more. Whereas if I'm just chatting with you guys, it's a lot
so
easier.
much easier. Yeah.
And I'm sure that's way more fun to watch from a viewer standpoint. Like I just want to be in a conversation with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just
That
knowing
connection.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that a lot.
I do too. So I've touched on it already a little bit, but be realistic, like with yourself, with your relationships, with whatever projects you're working on. I have to remind myself, I am not the first person to make the mistake I just made. I will not.
That's such a good one.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Nor will I be the last.
Yeah.
Like now,
That's so good.
of course you can use that to justify a lot of really poor behavior. So like, don't do that.
Yeah.
I'm not the first person to do this.
Right.
I'm not the first person to kill someone.
Right. Don't justify murder with that. But like, okay, when I was filling out all my stuff to get my business license, I was terrified that I was going to fill it out wrong. And they've got all these warnings on these papers. And it's like...
It's so serious.
It's so scary.
They're like, we're going to send, like, everyone after you.
Right. And I was like, gosh.
Like,
oh
you
my
will lose
gosh.
your house.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
I was terrified. But here's the deal. You mess up, ask for a different piece of paper. You're not the first person. And if they throw a fit about having to give you a new piece of paper, that's on them. It's not on you. Like, at some point in time, you just have to accept that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so going to my first OB appointment, I was really, really nervous. Like, doctors make me nervous in general. And I've had to say, okay, hold on. I am not the first nervous person to see a doctor. I'm not the first nervous person to have a baby. I'm not the first nervous person to do whatever. It's okay if I walk in there and I don't know what they're saying. I can ask a question and they will answer it, and they will answer it politely and it will be fine. Or they will answer it and they'll be really rude and awful. And I will say, okay, this isn't the office for me.
Yep.
I will find somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like, either way, I have my answer. And so then I went into my appointment with a normal level of nervous rather than, everything has to be perfect. I have to be the perfect patient. Like
I have to already know everything, and like I need to have answers to everything.
Right. Like, you don't get a prize for being the perfect patient or the perfect customer or be nice to retail employees and waiters and waitresses.
You should be the perfect customer.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
You should be. But like, if you have to ask for a substitution on your meal, you're no less valuable. You just don't like mushrooms. Like, it's okay. Your value still remains.
Yeah.
And then let me rephrase that. I always try to celebrate my defeats along with my wins. So, and I try to do that rather than begrudging my own failure. So, for instance, I love homemade bread. It's my favorite thing in the world. I am the worst. I am a baker for my job. I'm the worst bread maker in the world. Like, you can ask Rachel. It's terrible.
I gave her the simplest bread recipe. I don't know how someone can mess flour and water and yeast up that bad.
It's so bad. And I've tried so many times and I'm so terrible at it. But I go into it expecting, top level, like, I want a Panera bread. Like, that's the level I aspire to. And of course I don't do it simple. So I want it to be, colored. So I add food dye, and I want it to be braided. So I do that. And I want it to be gorgeous. And it's like, Vanessa, you don't know how to make basic bread. Why are you trying to do this? Like, maybe calm down. And so then I get all upset And now I just don't care, because that means that every time I want homemade bread, I can say, hey, Rachel. And I get to reach out and not steal her blessing. And she probably gets a little tired of making me bread. But I can say, hey, Rachel, you make me bread. You're really good at that. And she will do it for me. And when she wants some cookies, she can reach out to me and I'll be like, yeah, I'm all over it. Like, you want the like triple chocolate, you know, death by chocolate cookie? I'm all over it.
Yes.
Yes.
Forever and always.
But, and so I just acknowledge that as a win. Like, yeah, I don't get to make good bread, but I get to reach out to my friend. We get to chit chat. We get to meet up at some point in time to get bread. Like, I get to see my best friend. That's so cool.
Yeah.
It's like, well, it takes all kinds, and like we're all given different strengths for a
Exactly.
reason.
Yeah.
Right.
And it probably is for that connection piece where it's like, if I had it all figured out, do you think I would ever contact another human being ever again?
Right.
No.
Like, no. You know, you're like, no, no, she
Absolutely
wouldn't.
not.
Yeah, like
Right.
there would be no reason for it. So yeah, I think there's so much power in like, you know what? I'm bad at that. Now I get to call my friend. Yay. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
that's great.
And so someday if I do figure it out, well, then cool, I get a new skill. But you know what? I'm probably still going to want Rachel's bread because it's delicious and I don't have to make it.
Yeah.
That's valid.
Like,
Yeah.
but I am worth no less. I have no less value or worth because I can't make bread. Like, Josh didn't marry me for my bread making capabilities. I don't have what I have because I can make bread. Like, Rachel isn't friends with me or not friends with me based on whether I can do that,
Yeah.
nor any of my other skills. We're friends because we are.
Yeah.
Because we choose every day to work at it, which is, I think, the antidote to perfectionism. Like saying, okay, I'm going to choose to work on this. It's not perfect. Like, I will die knowing that it's not perfect. I will die still working on these traits.
Yeah.
Like,
One of my
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
one of my favorite things is that practice makes perfect, but not it's practice makes progress, not perfect.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I rarely ever say practice makes perfect anymore. I always say practice makes progress
Yeah.
because you're never
I love
gonna be
that.
perfect.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you ever became quote unquote perfect at something, then you have no room to grow and that's no fun.
You're
Like
you're
then
bored.
you like drop it. You're so
and then
bored.
no one's
Yeah.
gonna really
Yeah.
like you. That sounds really bad, but like, well, if you're just perfect at
Like,
everything.
this is perfect
Okay,
over there.
this is kind of funny, but I'm just thinking about this. This is what I think about when we talk about Jesus when he was a child.
Yeah.
Like, his siblings. Could you imagine being Jesus's brother?
They're like, there he is over there, just making the
Perfect little
stairs.
Jesus, because he legit is perfect.
Perfect little Jesus.
You're probably right. They're like, oh, there he is, just being so polite all the time.
Like, maybe they weren't like that and they're like, wow, but like, I just would be so annoyed if
Right.
like all
and,
the town kids
and even
are like,
me, like, I had Josh as a brother. That's as close as I'm gonna get.
yeah,
Mr. Perfect.
Mr. Perfect over there.
No, but for real.
That's really funny. No, I love that. Gabby's Dollhouse. Do you guys watch that?
Yeah.
And they like have their little song where they're like, practice makes better. And like, I had never heard like anything other than like practice makes perfect.
Perfect.
And so I love practice makes progress and like practice makes better, where it's like, okay, like the only goal here is to like work on it.
Yeah.
Like that's
You're better
it. Like
today than you were yesterday.
just work on it.
That's
yeah.
accurate.
Like, did you learn something? Okay, cool. Did you learn that you hate something? Okay, cool. Like,
Right. Like,
that's
if you learn that you don't want this ever again, that's
Yeah.
great. You still learned something and you should celebrate that rather than say, oh, what a failure. Like,
yeah,
I think about people trying to get their kids to try foods and they think, you know, they haven't tried this many foods by the age of 2 or whatever.
yeah,
You're not an imperfect parent because of that. Okay, your kid won't eat anything green except for when you put food coloring in their mashed potatoes. Like,
yeah,
okay, that's fine. You found out, you tried 42 different green foods and found out they won't eat them. They tried them
Yeah.
once.
like
Like, that's a win.
You did it. Yeah,
Right, so
yeah.
you try again next year. It will be okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like that.
I agree with that one.
So I feel like you've already kind of touched on this. But I think once we learn how to do something, then we do try to like encourage the people around us a little bit more to lean into the same thing that we are. It's kind of like, you know, when you're like, this is a great restaurant, everyone should go here.
Right.
Right. Like, hey, I learned that dropping perfectionism has improved my life. Like, so do you have any things that you like to do to like maybe just help build up the people around you, where it's like, you know what, you actually don't have to be perfect right now, and I love you anyway. Like,
Yeah.
what do you do for the people around you?
So my little sister, I love her so much. She is 15. She'll be 16 soon. And so I'm watching her, like I watched her go through 13 and 14 and like 12, 13, that's not a fun time.
For anyone.
For anyone, like it's so difficult.
I just got a cold chill. I was like, oh.
Like, not 13.
But it's so difficult because there's so much change happening, and all of a sudden everything is different and you don't even really get why. And to be honest, you may go into adulthood still not really knowing why.
Amen.
Like, I tried to like show her, you know, hey, it's all good. Like you can totally be real. And if you know her, she's absolutely real almost 100% of the time. She is the coolest person ever. I want to be her when I grow up. She's so cool. But she is 100% her. Like she's very good at being authentic. But that doesn't mean that stuff still doesn't suck. Like mean girls are still mean and boys are still stupid and life still happens and it sucks. Trying to walk beside her through all of this, I'm trying to be very intentional, and I think that's the key, is very intentional about, hey, Morgan, you know, life doesn't have to be absolutely perfect for it to be good and real and true. Like, it is okay if everything is a disaster right now. Like, find your people, find your group, and they will sit in the disaster with you.
Yep.
Like, even if, like, they may be able to fix it, that's great. And if they can't, they'll still sit there with you.
I like that though, where it's like you're saying like you want your friends to come and like sit in it with you, and you're saying the same thing to her, where it's like, hey, if they're the real ones, like they are going to be willing to sit in that with you.
Right. And I've seen her do that with her other friends. I've seen her do that. She's very close with, there's 5 of us kids, so she's very close with one of my brothers. They're over a year apart, and they're very close. And they, you know, they drive to school together and they do all these things together. And when he's having a hard time, she is there. And when she's having a hard time, he is there. Like,
that's so cute.
It is. And it's so cool because they hold each other accountable. And so they know when the other one's upset and they can go, and they clock that bull crap so fast. They're like, this is fake. What's going on? And it's like they have their own little language because they don't necessarily talk to us about that stuff, but they talk to each other about it. And, you know, as she's growing up, she's seeing more grown adult things. And she's like, you know, Nessa, this sucks. Like, I don't like this. Like, how do you deal with this? And sometimes it's, well, unfortunately, it just sucks. Like, go out and change the world. Like, work hard. If you really can't stand this, like, let's work on it. Let's fix it together. But also know that sometimes that's just the way the world works and it sucks.
Like sometimes it's just making it through.
Yeah. And no amount of you being perfect or you doing, you know, as much as you possibly can is going to fix it. Unfortunately, the world is broken. But you know what? You may not be able to fix the world, but you can fix this person's world today. And I try to be very intentional with my words. So I try to make sure that any self-talk that I have out loud is very intentional. Like, if like I'm breaking out right now, okay, that does not diminish my value because my face is breaking out. It just means that there's a lot going on with me right now, and so I'm breaking out, moving right along. Like, it's okay to be imperfect, scared. It's okay to have all these emotions. It's okay to be, you know, a person. And I'm seeing that show up in her because I'm seeing her talk to girls at the church in the same way and talk to her friends in that way, and it makes my heart glow.
Oh, I love it. That's so cool. I think to have someone like that is so cool too, because I feel like I didn't grow up in a house with like an older sister. Like, I have an older sister, but she's like a good bit older than me. So we didn't live together. And I, like, even just recently, I was like, oh, I can still do things even though I'm scared. Like, I can do things while being terrified. Something that like didn't occur to me before, and that may sound dumb,
right.
But like
if it's not modeled
up to a few years ago, I was like, well, if I'm scared of it, then I'm just not gonna do it because it's scary. And now I'm like, wait,
I have another option.
I have other options. Like, and it's so much more rewarding when you do things and you're still scared of it.
Oh yeah,
I agree.
Oh yeah, because you come out the other side and you're like, oh, either, oh, that wasn't as bad as I thought, or oh my gosh, that was as terrifying as I thought, and more, that's definitely not for me. And either way, like you said, you've learned something.
Yeah.
And you take that experience for what it is and you move on.
And it helps you to face the next thing.
Yeah,
Right.
we've talked about like how every time you do things scared, it just like pushes your threshold that much further.
Right.
So it's like, okay, well, today I did this and maybe I hated it. But like next time some crazy thing comes up, you're going to be like less and less afraid each time.
Yep.
Like, because it's like, oh no, my threshold for being able to handle new challenges
Yeah.
or like things that scare me a little bit, like it just keeps growing.
Yeah.
I feel
I
like
think it's so
10
cool.
times more brave than I was a year ago.
Yeah.
I
agree.
think that's
I agree.
absolutely evident in your
Yeah.
life as well.
I completely agree.
Thanks.
It's so cool. I love it. Are there any other things that you would like to share with us?
So ultimately, a question that I ask myself, and I have to like keep asking myself, because you're never going to get rid of perfectionism the first time you try it. You're going to fail, which is going to fuel your perfectionism, unfortunately, because you failed.
Right.
And you're going to go, oh man, I suck. And then you have to try again and again and again and again.
Yep.
And some seasons are going to be easier, like to the point where you're like, oh, I don't struggle with this anymore. And then you're going to get hit with a whole wave of it and you're going to be like, I'm starting all the way over. So, you know, don't get discouraged, first of all. Like, keep working on it, keep working through it. But I ask myself, okay, if I'm 100% perfect, if I do everything perfectly, I'm enough, I'm, you know, all of that, what am I actually achieving? Because if I think that I can do everything perfect, then I don't need, like we've talked about, I don't need friends, I don't need family, I don't need anything. I need me. Like, and you, if you are in a vulnerable enough state and you are, you know, really, really locked into this, I'm going to be perfect, you can take that so far beyond yourself.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, I don't need this job. I'm too big and bad for this job that's been fabulous for me and I love.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need this romantic relationship. I don't need all these good things in my life because I brought them here, so I don't need them anymore because I have everything I need.
Yeah.
And then you end up with nothing and you don't even realize it at first because you think everything's perfect.
Yeah.
And you've missed the whole entire point. It's like the beginning of a Hallmark movie, you know, before the guy goes to the small town. Like, you've missed out on the whole point.
Yeah.
And so, like, if I'm constantly striving for and struggling for perfectionism, then I'm going to automatically live a life of disconnect. And it's going to be a life of disconnect with myself. Because you know that you're not perfect. You know that you're never going to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're sitting there and the loudest voice is saying, well, you have to be, then you're not connected. And like, I know there's a lot of inner child therapy and inner child self-talk and all these different things. I mean, really, truly just yourself. Like, you will no longer care for yourself outside of, do I have the perfect house, car, body, social media presence? Like, do I have all of these things? Until you become just a shell. And it's like, okay, nobody wants to hang out with you because you're just a shell who only cares about being perfect. And chances are you make them feel like crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then you get bitter and
That's so
angry.
good. Yeah.
And it just is no fun.
Yeah.
No. Like a really mean cycle.
Yeah.
That's a mean cycle.
Yeah. And I'm not saying this happens to every single person that struggles with perfectionism. But
I think it does in
can.
one way or another, though.
Maybe
Like,
not in that big of a...
Yeah.
Like, your whole life may not collapse, but I think parts of your life will.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
yeah.
talking about that makes me think so much of, like, faith-wise and, like, your relationship with Christ. Like, that's where you grow in Christ the most, too.
Right.
Is when you need a savior.
It's
Like,
like,
because
you
we
need
all
to be
do.
humble.
If you're perfect, you don't
Yeah.
need God.
That's
Yep.
what I was going to say. If I am perfect, what do I need a savior for?
Yeah.
Because if I got all this on my own, then why do I need someone else
What's
that...
the
Right.
use?
Yeah, why do
Yeah.
I need faith in someone that I can't see? Because I can see me and I did this.
Yeah.
And so I think, unfortunately, and this might ruffle some feathers, I think a lot of perfectionism
Do
comes...
it.
Do it.
I think a lot of it comes from pride.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Pride
if-
cycle's insane. Yeah.
If you can do this on your own, then I'm really cool and I'm really awesome and, you know, and I can control this and I can... And it's really easy to say, oh, yeah, you know, I have some control issues. No one likes to say, oh, I have pride issues.
Mm-mm.
No one likes to say that. No one likes to say, oh, I have anger issues. No one, like, but if you're getting genuinely upset and genuinely angered by your inability to control things, then there's another conversation we need to be having.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that as a non-professional person. Like,
I think it's spot on, though.
I've lived through this. I don't have any, you know, degree to back that up. But I think perfectionism is just a coat that we kind of put on a lot of different emotions that maybe we don't want to deal with.
Yeah.
Like, you're angry with your childhood, so you're going to make your adulthood perfect. Or you couldn't control your childhood, or both. And so you're going to make everything be happy and perfect to the point of, okay, well, I care if you're smiling in this picture over whether you're actually smiling in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're like,
So that's
we feel that. Thanks for saying that
So
out
true.
loud to us. That's nice. Yeah, that's 100% true though.
Yeah.
Dang.
I love this.
This is amazing. For real. Okay, we don't want to keep you all day, even though we do want to keep you all day. You're now the third member of our squad here. If there was anything that you think like every single human being should hear, what would that be? If you're like, please, like if you're struggling, just hear this.
Is
right
this
now.
about perfectionism or just in general?
Just in general.
Just life? What do you wish everyone could hear?
That you are loved more than you know.
Aw,
Like,
that makes me
okay,
wanna cry.
a secret little thing. I write poetry. I talked about in one of them how important I think it is in a daily practice of mine is, I try to kind of fall in love with a stranger all the time. Not romantic love, just platonic, like, hey, you're another human walking this earth at the same time as me. So like, hey, the barista making my coffee, oh my gosh, your hair is fabulous. And I will do my best to tell them. And I hope that like people with me notice that.
Yeah.
Like, I try to make it a point, like, oh wow, if their outfit is cute, I'm absolutely gonna tell them.
Yeah.
Because I think it's so important that people realize that they're not just, living life alone. Like, because it can absolutely feel like it.
Yeah.
Like, and you expect, your close group to love you. But sometimes that doesn't feel like enough. Like, it is, but it doesn't feel like enough. And so I think it's made my day before when people were like, oh my gosh, I love this. Or, hey, this is totally random, but they'll send me a message on Instagram. And like, this is totally random, but I just wanted to tell you. And so now I do that all the time. Like, I'll send people messages and be like, hey, haven't talked to you in like 10 years, but like, love you. Hope you're doing well. And then I'll compliment them on something. And it's true and genuine. Like, I'm not saying lie. But like, tell the people you love them that you love them. Tell strangers that you love them.
Yeah.
Because I think the world needs way more of that.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, and like you were saying, like I feel like if you said, "Oh my gosh, you look so good today," like I'm gonna take that as a compliment. That's so nice. But like it's almost expected.
Yeah.
Like not in a
Right,
rude
yeah.
way, but in a like
Like if a stranger at a store ran up to
right.
you.
It's gonna boost your confidence so much more. And like feeling lonely and unseen is the worst.
It's miserable.
It's the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
So if you can feel seen and known by complete strangers,
oh yeah.
that'll just turn your whole life around.
Yeah.
I agree.
I just think it's so important to remember that, hey, everybody else has a whole entire story and they're walking around carrying who knows how much.
Yeah.
Like, if you like
That's-
something, let them know.
Yeah.
That's so powerful.
Let the people you know, or let the people around you know that you love them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been trying more when I see someone that's like seems miserable or like maybe they're a little bit rude. I try and like put myself into their shoes a little bit. Like I don't know them, but I know that like my life sucks sometimes. I have bad days.
Yeah.
Like I just got the worst news ever or I just had the worst morning ever. Yeah. And so to be able to be like, "Oh, maybe they're having one of those days." It just makes you go, "Okay." Rather than just being like, "Well, they're rude and they're terrible."
Yeah. Like they must be a miserable person.
They're a human being too.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. Well, you are just a wonderful human being. I feel like I learn so much from you every single time I talk to you. So thank you for being here and sharing just all of your goodness with us.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh. We would have you back any day of the
This
week.
is so fun.
This is so good. Yeah. But yeah, thank you. We love you. And we just think you're amazing.
I love y'all too.
Thank you so much for joining us today. If you're enjoying LightHearted, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. It really helps us reach more people who need a little more light in their lives.
And be sure to follow us on Instagram at LightHeartedPod to stay up to date with our episodes and to share your own stories with us. We really love getting them from you, so make sure you're sending those in. Also, if you want to hang out with us while we get ready to film these episodes, our LightHearted TikTok account can finally go live and we're so excited. So please join us on our TikTok account at LightHeartedPod or on our own personal TikTok account still. All of those will be linked below.
Yeah. And don't forget to stay lighthearted. This podcast was recorded on Buzzsprout in West Virginia.